Hey everybody, it's Cynthia from Boris Basement and Pop Culture Profits. I wanted to do something a little different today. Instead of a haul video, which I know I haven't done in a while. Sorry, I should have, but it's a silly excuse. We've had so many things, I've been overwhelmed, and so I haven't done a haul. But what I wanted to do tonight was show you, do a solds video. Basically show you some of the things that have sold in the last few weeks because I don't do these for a number of reasons, but I started to think about, it's one thing for me to sit here and tell you what I think things are going to sell for, and a whole different learning experience for me to actually show you the items and, sorry, show you the items and hope that you can learn something maybe you didn't know before and increase your own pop culture profits. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at a couple of unusual items. Some are great sellers, some weren't, but either way, I think there's a little lesson to be learned in each one of them. So that's what we're going to talk about. Come on along. We're going to start right here. We love t-shirts. Let me start by saying we sell a lot of t-shirts. In the winter, there was a t-shirt slump. We did still sell because obviously there are still people who buy them, not just to wear them, but as collectibles. And there was a short period of time where I started thinking, oh my gosh, are we going to lose this completely? Because this is huge for us. No, it's come right back. And if you see this one, this shirt sold for $45 plus shipping to Europe. And the person bought a second shirt from us. So this was like an $80 sale off of, I mean, you know what t-shirts cost to buy at the used stores. And so we found this at a one-off thrift store, a couple bucks. I probably paid for it. But the other thing about this shirt is if I love shirts that you have to know what the inside joke is in order to want to buy them. Now, this certainly limits your audience, but that is my audience. My audience are fans. They're people who love pop culture and they love being in on the secret. I don't bet you hundreds of people passed this shirt in the thrift store and didn't know what it was and left it behind. I saw this shirt and almost fell over. I was like, oh my God, grr, arg. This is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer shirt. This is the logo for Giles Whedon's Mutant Enemy Company that makes Buffy, that makes a bunch of other, lots and lots of TV shows that you all know and love. I don't know if it was official. I don't know if it was a gift. I don't know what it was. I bought it. I would have kept it. I almost kept it, but it wasn't my size. And I put it up for sale at a huge price, $45.99. And I got it very quickly, probably within a couple of weeks. So don't give, check those t-shirt racks. Look for the unusual shirts. Look for something that means something to you. If it means something to you, it's going to mean something to someone else. Another thing that it's kind of died out for us are DVDs. Now, DVDs in general, we used to do really well with them, especially television DVDs. But they've really died out, and I guess just more and more people are watching Netflix, they're downloading, they just aren't buying. However, there are DVDs that still have some value because they're out of print, because they have some special meaning to people. This is one of them. This was the Elvis 68 Comeback Special. It is pricey to buy new, if you can find it new. This was a used one. As you can see, we got $24.99 for it. And this came from a family collection, so technically, well, it technically cost us money when we bought it as a gift years ago. But, this is one of those things that was around the house, and we decided, saw that it had some value, put it up. And I have to laugh because of a mistake in the way eBay pulls stock photos and all. This ended up as our first picture, and I said to my husband, oh, we have to fix that and put the right picture in the front. And before he could even do it, it sold. So this sold, I don't even know, within days. So, and when that happens, you could always say, I think I had it up too cheap, but we didn't. There were copies that were selling for a lot more money. We were very happy with this amount of money. Yeah. Next was this. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So you saw this DVD that went for $24. This is a little tiny toy that sold for $23.99, so basically $24. It's hard to tell from this picture. I realize now we should have had a ruler in there, but anybody who bought it knew what it was. This thing is smaller than a coffee cup. That's the size. The baby is about the size of the palm of your hand, or if you collect Lilith's Pet Shop, it's about that same size. This I found at the Salvation Army, and the only reason I even grabbed it in the first place was because it was sealed and because it was Tomy 2003, which it doesn't sound like it's that old, but that's 15 years ago. That means people who have money now were were kids 15 years ago when these were out, and this is one of those nostalgia things. This is something that somebody's going to see and go, oh my gosh, I had one of those when I was a kid. I need it again. Or maybe they have a collection because I guess there's a bunch of these. What's crazy about these is this little crazy little doll like does a bunch of things. It's interactive. It like talks and sings and whatever. I don't know because I didn't take it out of the package because it was sealed but it does all this wild stuff. So somebody bought it, $23.99. Again, it sold lightning fast from when we put it up. So sealed toys, especially these little ones, they love these little things because they're easy to collect. People, don't want a lot of bulky stuff anymore. All this little stuff, Littlest Pet Shop, My Little Baby, uh, tiny little toys. Grab them, look them up. Because again, scan the barcode, easy. Now, this one, this was my bust for the year. And I want to show you this because I don't want you to think that everything I buy is a home run, because of course it's not. Um, this was a Rihanna, yes, that Rihanna jacket. It was made in England. It had the tag still on it. I thought it was quite lovely. It's denim. It's got all these kind of pockets and details. I got it, I think, for around $5 because the store was having a half off sale. New with tags. I know I said that. That was what was really amazing to me. I probably never would have bought it if it hadn't been new with tags, and I never would have paid more than $5 for it. But I'm like, Rihanna. And plus, I think I was having one of those modes where I thought, oh, I want to expand our line and sell more, clothes and things. This jacket sat and sat and sat, and we marked it down, and we marked it down, and we marked it down. And I don't know, it's been up not a year, but gosh, at least 6 months or more. And I think I might have listed it last spring even because I think that's why the store might have had it marked down because when summer was coming. And I don't understand it, and I still don't understand it. I don't understand a Rihanna, a denim jacket alone. Forget the Rihanna, a denim jacket, new with tags from England. Why is that? Why did nobody want that? I don't know. But in the end, we finally sold it for $20 plus 12 um, shipping, which to some, I know that doesn't sound bad because you saw the other items I got for $24. But those other items we bought and they went fast. This thing, like I said, it took up room in my closet and drove me crazy for a long time. Um, I do not recommend buying Rihanna jackets. Oh, I hate that one. All right. So here's another crazy one. And you can see, what's funny? I didn't do this on purpose, but I realized like I have a price point that makes me happy. And you can see it's in the $25 range. This is a souvenir item. I love souvenir items. And they're another thing that we used to sell a lot of, but has slowed down. And I'm thinking that's seasonal. Because I think in this summer, when people start taking vacations, they start reminiscing about old vacations they took when they were kids or years ago. And that's when they start looking around on eBay for that souvenir that they didn't buy when they were there or they had and they lost. This one I picked up because, again, it was so unusual. Paul Bunyan and Babe, Minnesota souvenir figure. I think this town of Brainerd has this statue in the town. And so this was a small version. Again, it's in there somewhere, my measurements. I always put measurements for stuff like this. So it was about a foot tall, and it was real heavy too. It wasn't like a cheap plastic toy. It was a really nice collectible. Could be vintage, don't know for sure. There was no date on it. And um, this is one of these funny ones that we put it aside, and somehow it ended up in our bathroom as like decor. And it sat there for the longest time. And one day I went, oh my gosh, we never listed that Paul Bunyan. Souvenir figurine. We listed it and it sold fairly quickly um, for $28. So again, somebody who either collects Paul Bunyan or somebody who's seen this wanted this souvenir. I have a huge section of souvenir items. They are starting to dwindle. So we're going to see if they don't pick up by the summer, that might be an area that just isn't hot like it used to be. Next up, we have, oh, okay. So I have a couple pieces to show you here. Oh, look, my price point went up. This is 31. This is David Bowie Labyrinth CD, soundtrack CD. There are apparently several different pressings of this CD, a US, a UK, um, and I believe, because this is more my husband's expertise than mine, that had something to do with the reason that we got $31 for it. But all Labyrinth CDs sell well. It's very collectible film. There's not a lot of merchandise for the film. It's a great soundtrack. David Bowie, obviously we lost him and people are, really back into collecting his music. Um, so yes, $31 on this. Now I'll show you one more thing and then I'll tell you a story about these CDs. That, and then look at this one. So this is Grosse Pointe Blank soundtrack set. Oh, which just ironically also had Bowie on. I didn't realize that. This is a set of 2 soundtrack CDs together, sold for $25, free shipping and all these things. But they go very cheap. They go first class, like $3 tops. I also sold something called Legend, a soundtrack called Legend that I think also went for the $30, $25 to $30 range. And I've got about 5 more up that should sell also in those range. The ones I just mentioned, the 3 I mentioned, sold again within weeks of our putting them up, if not days. I think the Legend sold within days of us putting it up. Now, here's the story that goes with CDs. I do not buy CDs. My husband loves CDs, but he doesn't sell them, or he has hundreds of them in the house. I not sure why. I think Jason, who I'm sure you guys know, Thrifty Business Jason, he is big about selling CDs and he had a special thing about Christmas CDs. And I don't know if that's what triggered it or what, but I started looking a little bit more into CD selling. But again, I wanted to stay within what we do. Now, I guess all music is sort of pop culture related, but because we really like movie and TV soundtracks, that kind of stuff. So I was on another auction site, which is called Proxybid, which is a little bit more difficult to deal with. These are auctions from all around the country. Someone was selling off an estate sale collection of CDs that were mostly soundtracks and a few other things thrown in. I couldn't see them well. They were just a big stack. I could only really determine I couldn't see the details on them. I didn't know the condition, but they were starting them at $5 for each stack, and I think there were 10 or 20. I think there might have been 20 in each stack. I looked up a few of them and saw that there was value in a couple of them and figured it'd be worth it. Now, tricky thing with Proxybid, longer story than I meant to tell. If you buy from Proxybid, kind of like when you buy from Shop Goodwill, there's a lot of extra fees. There's auction fees, and then there's an auctioneer's premium, they call it, and then shipping is often outrageous because you don't know what your shipping is going to be till after you have won the auction, and then you're obligated to buy. In this case, they came back with saying they needed $20 for shipping, which I thought was crazy because they could have gone in a priority mail, that they could have gone media mail. They would have gone for half that price. A lot of back and forth, a lot of back and forth. It took over a month for me to get them. Not a good experience with this. And this is not Proxybid. Let me tell you, I've had great experience with Proxybid. The particular seller, the particular auctioneer on Proxybid took forever to send them. And when they arrived, they were smashed beyond belief. Majority of the cases were destroyed. Like I picked one up and like plastic rained out of the box, like glass shards. And so, because my husband does collect his own CDs, he had a lot of blank boxes around. We switched out a lot of the cases for the higher end ones, and we were just lucky that when the cases were destroyed, that the discs themselves and the papers were not damaged. So we had to replace all the cases. Now, even with having to do that, as frustrated as I am about that, The company promised to refund my shipping because of the 20-day delay. They never did. But I'm going to live with it because we've already sold over $100. We sold 3 CDs, 4 because of a set, and made over $100, which is already triple what I paid for the entire set of CDs. And as I said, we still have more up and more that aren't listed. So don't be afraid to invest in a bunch of things. And again, and let me make it clear, not every CD in the set was worth it. About a quarter of them we just redonated right away, right back out. We stole the cases off of it and redonated. But it was a great, interesting way to source. I took a real chance. They could have been in, the discs themselves could have been horrible condition, but because I saw how much, I did my research and knew how much these CDs, these soundtracks, how rare they were, I bought them, and I'm glad I did. Now, along those same lines of rare, let's go back to the DV discussion. This is an Emmy screener. Or a press screener. If you don't know what that is, and for those of you who don't know, I was an entertainment reporter in my earlier life. I used to do a lot of work with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is why I was so excited about that Joss Whedon shirt at the beginning. So when you are a reporter, you get screener discs sent to you to review television shows before they go on the air. And if you are in if you work in Hollywood, you might be an Emmy voter, which means you get videos, to get DVDs sent to you to try to influence you to vote for this particular show for the Emmy Awards. Same thing for Oscars and the movies. Now, before DVDs were made for almost every show out there, screeners used to be hugely collectible. People would pay a ton of money for them because they couldn't always get the shows. But now almost everything comes out on DVD, or you can stream it or whatever. So the value in general of screener DVDs has dropped unless, again, it's a really unusual piece or the book it comes in is very collectible, which sometimes is the case. The exception to this rule, and I have to say, and I know I've got a bunch of Emmy press books and things, press kits, which I cannot move any longer. I've had to sell them for so cheap, I can't believe it. The exception to the rule is Netflix. Because Netflix shows don't generally come out on DVD, I don't think, or they do. I don't know. It's a weird circumstance. I guess they don't because they were always on Netflix where you could stream them. DVDs are very rare and very collectible. Netflix is quite hot. If you can find the press book, the Emmy screener for Stranger Things, that's worth bucks, big bucks. This was Sense8. I found this at one of my favorite charity shops that I can only go to about once a month because it's a little further away. They wanted $6 for it, and I almost didn't buy it. Can you believe that? Only because I've been so bitten by these screeners. I see them, I want to buy them all because they mean so much to me. And it's really upsetting to me that they don't mean anything to anyone else, which contradicts my earlier rule where I said if it means something to you, buy it. But that's a $2 t-shirt. Um, so I almost left this behind and thought, no, 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 it's Netflix. I did look online. Some of them were selling, some of them weren't. There was a lot of them up. And I thought, I'm just going to do it because I'm going to kick myself if I leave it behind. And incredibly, it sold for $34.99 and it sold again fairly quickly. Yes, because I bought this at the beginning of the month. No, I might have bought this last month, so it might have been about 2 months, but still fairly quickly it went. I think these are fantastic collectibles. I would jump to buy one for my favorite TV show, so I'm glad it went to a good home. Okay, a couple more things to show you. I know this video is getting long. This little guy, you are not going to believe. You think that price is good, 45? I sold his brother for about 60 plus shipping to the UK, so for about 100 bucks. This is a Wildstar Rousdower. Now, you may never find a Rousdower, but what you might learn from this is that video game plushies, any video game collectibles in general, but particularly plushies, often go for very good money. And the reason being is that they are often promos, like this one was, that were a limited edition. This one I think was given at a video game convention. Sometimes they come with, Again, they're sent out as to the press as collectibles to try to get them, to write about a game, but they're not mass produced in the same way of most toys that we know. So they are very collectible. This particular guy, if you happen to find him, oh, this was really good. He had his tag. His brother had a pin in his ear from the convention that he came from, and that made him extra, extra special because that pin, as you can imagine, gets lost a lot. So that one went for even more money. Um, this fellow was buried at the bottom of a church bin, both of them, with just a ton of regular old teddy bears and beanie babies piled on top. I grabbed it because it was weird looking, and then when I noticed that it was a video game plushie, I went, oh, I'm taking this. And I grabbed them both, luckily. Um, for a couple bucks, I don't remember exactly. I think they cost me probably about $2.50 a piece, maybe, typical prices for plushies at thrift stores. And when I got them home, was wildly excited to see how much they go for. So look for video game toys. The only way you're going to know it's a video game toy is, first of all, they're usually quite unusual looking because they're generally animated characters. They're very strange. And then second of all, just know your video game companies. Um, this one was a game called WildStar from NCSoft. Look for Nintendo. Look for PlayStation. Look for, I don't know, anything that, I don't know, there's a look to them. You'll learn it. You just learn it. Look around on eBay for video game promo plush, and you'll start to get a feel for what they look like. I I don't think I've ever had a video game plush that didn't sell quickly, and more than half of them have sold for very good money. Way back, years ago, I bought a huge bag, like a 3-foot bag of stuffed animals from this charity shop I go to that marks them at $3. There have to be 50 animals crammed into this thing. I bought it because there was Disney plush in it. The Disney plush isn't what sold. What sold was this crazy little duck that made sounds. And again, yep, he was from a video game. And he sold for like $45. Ridiculous. Look for those wacky plush and then check their tags. There you go. Last, but certainly not least, this was a new venture for me that if I get a chance, again, I will certainly go for it. But man, I wish I had, I'll tell you in a second. So you're going to say, oh, 12.50, that's not a big sale. What is that? Okay, well, try 12.50 times 5, and there's still more to go. These are Lego minifigures. Lego minifigures sell for good money considering what they are, how easy they are to store, and how easy they are to ship. These are not even complete Lego figures, as you can see. Some of them have the wrong heads, some of them have just heads with no bodies. This is pieces from Star Wars. The lightsabers really helped in this listing because those little pieces tend to get lost. I bought a huge bag of Lego at Salvation Army. I've never seen it there before. They were just unpacking them, which is the only way I got my hands on them. They were marked at $25. It was half price day. I almost left it behind because it was $12.50 for the entire bag that I could see had minifigures in it. If it had been just bricks, I wouldn't have bought it. Even though there is market in bricks, but it's a lot harder to sell. The minifigures, Savers pulls the minifigures out and puts them in their own bag and charges a fortune for them. I'd never seen this before at Salvation Army. She had 3 bags. I should have bought all 3. But before I even got a chance to think about it, somebody grabbed the other 2. I ended up with the one. I got it home, took a lot of time sorting it all out. I sold the first set. I should have grabbed that one for you, and I didn't have it here. Sorry. There was a Clark Kent figure in there with 2 other Superman figures sold for $25. That was the big money figure that was in the bag. So right there, I not quite double my money if you talk about fees and shipping. I almost doubled my money right there. Then we put up, like I said, 4 more sets of 3 to 5 figures and another set of just loose little swords and guns and accessories and made approximately $15. Sold each lot sold for in the neighborhood of $15. So 15 times 5 plus the 24 from the beginning. And I'm out of figures, but I still have all the bricks that have not yet sold and will sell at some point. I'm confident in that. So Legos. Minifigures. Never hesitate to buy them. Again, just got to watch your price. They will sell. Any kind of minifigure will sell. These were Star Wars, but one of the other lots I sold was just like miscellaneous characters like police officers and chefs and teachers and artists and stuff like that. So it's not just the character pieces that you recognize. Um, Anything sells. People buy them, they customize them, they add to their collections. People collect just minifigures. They're huge. So watch your price, but if you get a chance to buy a bag of Legos and you know there's minifigures in there, grab it, take it home, make money. Because again, if nothing else, they're so small, they're so easy to ship, they're so light to ship that it's almost impossible not to make some money. Like you'd have to spend a crazy amount on Legos to not make your money back. All right, that's it. I'm run out. So those are my pop culture profit items for the last few weeks. I hope you learned something there that you can take away. CD soundtracks, again, they're not all worth money, but there's quite a few that are because they were never re-released after they were out in the first place. So, get those barcode scanners out, those Amazon scanners, use it to scan them. Look for those video game Plush. Look for Netflix screeners. And again, you'll know these. Let me go back to that real quick. So I know I said we were done. This is how you'll know screeners versus regular DVDs. They do not come in a plastic case usually. Generally, they come in what looks more like a book. They're usually some kind of book form with the DVDs stuck down inside the pockets, or a fold-out book. It is it's not impossible, but it's rare to find them in actual plastic cases like you find regular DVDs. So you'll know it's a screener. You'll also know it's a screener because there will be no barcode on the back. Remember, because it was never sold. Promo items. That's a promo item. Movie promo items, video game promo items, and stay away from Rihanna jackets. Other than that, everything else I told you, if you see it, buy it. And you too will be making some pop culture profits. I would love to hear about what you found this week or what you loved in this listing, what you hated in this little video I just did, whether you'd rather I don't make these kinds of videos anymore. Let me know. And I will try to get back to some hauls for you because I do love showing you all the fun things that I find. Have a great one. Go out there, find cool things, make money.